By early 1917, the battlefields of Europe had settled into a brutal, agonizing deadlock. The front line was practically frozen in place, and millions of soldiers had already been killed in a continuous meat grinder. Far from the trenches, a quiet, invisible pressure was slowly suffocating Germany. A strict British naval blockade had cut off supply chains. Factories lacked basic raw materials, and starving German civilians waited in massive lines just to buy scraps of food. The German high command looked at this reality and realized they were running out of time. They knew their empire could not survive a long, drawn-out war of attrition. They needed to break the stalemate, and quickly. Their solution was radical and deadly. German leaders announced a policy of unrestricted submarine warfare. Under these new orders, U-boats would sink every single ship heading toward Britain, whether it was military or civilian, without any warning. They understood exactly what this meant. Sinking neutral ships would almost certainly pull the United States into the war. But Germany accepted that risk, betting they could starve Britain into surrendering before the Americans could fully mobilize. That calculation backfired. On April 6, 1917, the United States officially declared war on Germany. By making this choice, Germany triggered a ticking clock. They now had to win the war on their own terms, before the immense industrial and military power of the United States could physically cross the Atlantic. Initially, the American presence was small, but month by month, a steady stream of fresh troops, supplies, and industrial equipment began trickling into Europe. At the same time, the aggressive U-boat campaign failed to force Britain's surrender. Germany was losing its race against the American buildup. Then, the balance of power shifted abruptly in the East. Years of crushing military defeats and severe food shortages finally pushed the Russian Empire into total revolution. The Russian Tsar was forced to abdicate his throne. Soon after, the Bolsheviks seized control of the government, led by Vladimir Lenin, who made a single defining promise: he would end the war at any cost. In March 1918, that promise was fulfilled with the signing of the Treaty of Brest-Litovsk. Russia officially dropped out of World War I. This sudden geopolitical earthquake offered Germany a massive, unexpected advantage. Almost overnight, millions of German soldiers were freed from the Eastern Front, ready to board trains and move west for one final, massive push. That push came in the spring of 1918, known as Operation Michael. It was an all-or-nothing offensive designed to smash through the Allied lines and capture Paris before the American forces were fully equipped for combat. To achieve this, Germany deployed specialized infiltration tactics. Instead of charging head-on into machine gun fire, small groups of highly trained stormtroopers bypassed heavy strongpoints entirely to shatter the trench lines from within. The pace of the advance was blistering. For weeks, German forces poured through the gaps, covering more ground than either side had managed in years and pushing dangerously close to Paris. But the operation carried a fatal flaw. The frontline troops had moved so fast that they outran their own artillery and logistics. Behind them, the supply lines simply snapped. The physical toll on the advancing forces was severe. Exhausted German soldiers found themselves stranded in captured territory with virtually no food, bleeding momentum, and running critically low in ammunition. The offensive stalled out. Germany had burned through its very last reserves of manpower and equipment. Right at the exact moment the American tidal wave finally crashed onto the battlefield. With the German advance halted, the momentum violently shifted. Fresh American troops fought directly alongside British, French, and other Allied forces, launching a massive counterattack known as the 100 Days Offensive. The Allies brought overwhelming technological and material superiority to bear. They utilized thousands of aircraft overhead and deployed hundreds of heavy tanks to crush the weakened German defenses. The German army was steadily pushed backward. Morale collapsed entirely, and the rate of desertion spiked as soldiers realized the fight was lost. While the military crumbled on the front lines, the homeland finally broke. After years of the naval blockade, the starvation inside Germany had become unbearable. Discontent boiled over into violent internal collapse. Sailors mutinied against their commanding officers, and massive crowds of desperate workers began rioting in the streets, demanding an immediate end to the war. The final political blow came on November 9, 1918, Kaiser Wilhelm II was forced to abdicate his throne, effectively destroying the German Empire. With the army in full retreat and cities erupting in revolution, Germany lost the physical and political capacity to keep fighting. The physical combat came to an abrupt end. On November 11, 1918, representatives met inside a secluded railway carriage in France to finalize the terms of surrender. News of the armistice triggered immediate euphoric celebration around the world. After more than 4 devastating years, the guns finally fell silent. But beneath the public joy lay a dark reality. Millions of people were dead. Entire empires had been erased from the map, leaving behind a deeply fractured and exhausted world. The upcoming peace negotiations would attempt to redraw the borders of Europe. In the process, they would impose crushing penalties on Germany, leaving millions humiliated and desperate for revenge. This treaty wouldn't secure lasting stability. Instead, the peace of 1918 acted as a ticking time bomb, quietly planting the seeds for an even deadlier global conflict.